Hi, everybody. This is the Football Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion. Your host, Hut, and welcome back to the Football Hut. I hope you like this video and subscribe. We're going to talk about the New York Giants. And WFAN again. Talk about WFAN. You got guys that are don't know anything about what they're talking about, saying one thing. And then the one guy that knows what he's talking about sort of sets everyone straight. And then there is the crazy guy. The real crazy guy at WFAN. And who knows, this might be a situation he might actually be right. But first of all, let's go to the psycho killer. That's Chris McMonagle. He's sort of like the lightweight board op for Evan and Tiki in the afternoon. He has all these different shows. Now you can tell from these pictures I have of him as I talk about him here in this part of the video. He's a happy guy. He's a happy guy. Here's the headline from Odyssey.com. C-Mac. Sorry, Daniel Jones fans, but Giants offense was better with Tyrod Taylor. I mean, if you're a Giants fan, you watched it. It wasn't much better. It was not much better than how it is with Jones. And Jones, I don't think would have messed up the scoring chance in the first quarter. The Giants have not scored an offensive point in the first 6 games of their 2023 season. Tyrod Taylor couldn't get the Giants into the end zone in his first start of the season, but Chris McMonagle says the veteran quarterback did enough to make the offense look more efficient than it has all season with Daniel Jones under center. Quote, I would play Tyrod Taylor next week, C-Mac said, with the way the offense looked and the way they played in this game. There's a good portion of the Giants fan base that will never criticize Daniel Jones ever. It's always the offensive line. It's always something. They will look at this point and they would look at this and point to Tyrod Taylor's decision at the end of the half. They'll say the offensive line was better for him. They called plays for Hyatt. But Tyrod Taylor made the offense work better. Simple. I'm sorry to all you Daniel Jones fans that you watched the game. I watched the game. It wasn't much of a difference. And I would mention that the coach screamed at him as they walked out the field. So he got an earful from the coach. The coach just let him know that he screwed up, and it was a mess up. Like they didn't look like they seemed to have any kind of idea of what the hell they were doing on that last play. Taylor had the luxury of Saquon Barkley being back in the backfield, but the offensive line was still in shambles, with even more injuries impacting the unit on Sunday night. Taylor finished 24 for 36 with even 200 yards through the air, and came one completion short of pulling off the biggest upset of the NFL season. That was enough for C-Mac to determine that the offense looked better with Taylor with Taylor leading the way. I'll get it right. They certainly weren't a dynamic offense. They certainly couldn't get into the freaking end zone. C-Mac said. But he was throwing the ball downfield to receivers. It was actually an offense. When was the last time we saw that? They didn't score a point in the first half, you dope. The hell are you talking about? Now, in this part of the video, we're going to talk about a guy that actually knows what he's talking about. This is a guy that actually played quarterback and played for the Cincinnati Bengals and the New York Jets, and that is Norman Boomer Esiason. You know Boomer? He was in the Super Bowl that one year in 1989, and Joe Montana basically sort of, I'll see you later, kid. Well, that's Boomer Esiason. Then he went to the Jets, and then he had a couple concussions, and that was pretty much it for Boomer. He's got the blonde hair, basically, now he sounds terrible. He sounds like, it sounds terrible when he talks. But here we go from Odyssey.com. Tyrod Taylor cannot make killer mistake at end of first half. The Giants laid an egg at the end of the first half on Sunday night as Taylor audibled for a run up the middle at the 1-yard line with no timeouts and the final seconds ticking off the clock. There wasn't enough time for the Giants to get to the line and spike the ball down and stop the clock. And came away with nothing and a 14-9 loss. The rule of thumb is 16 seconds, Boomer said. That's what you need to run a play. If you run it quickly, if you run the play on time, you should be able to get to the line, snap it, and clock it in 16 seconds. To check to a run at the end of that, at the first half, have the first half end on the 1-yard line. It's just a killer situation. He needs to know better. Boomer commended Taylor for keeping the Giants in the game in his first start of the season, but calling for a run up the middle with no timeouts in that situation was unacceptable. Quote, this is rough. I mean, this is really about as rough as you'll get from Boomer. But like I said, Boomer's like, he might be the second most sanest person on the fan. When it comes to certain things. This is why you're on the 5th or 6th team, whatever it is, Boomer said about Taylor. It's moments like that, unfortunately for him, he's been around long enough to know this isn't a rookie quarterback. That's his decision right there that you can't make. Now, what do you think of that? I mean, this is a guy that knows what he's talking about. And Boomer Esiason, and he was a quarterback a long time with the Jets and the Bengals. And finally, in this video, let's talk about the craziest guy on the fan. That's Greg Giannotti, the other half of Boomer and Gio. This is a guy that everything is a negative thing. There's never anything positive. And he lets you know he's got a little mental problem. So here we go. Headline from Odyssey.com. Gio sees Giants finishing in 4 to 5 win range in position to draft top quarterback. I don't necessarily disagree with that. But we weren't saying it before the season. Gio acknowledged that some Giants fans will come away from Sunday's loss to the Bills feeling optimistic moving forward. As the offensive line showed some stability, the defense and Bobby Okereke looked fantastic against the Bills, and reinforcements will be on the way. But Gio doesn't share that optimism. I can't see Big Blue going on a run, even with the schedule getting easier in the weeks to come. Quote, you feel like it's totally over for the Giants, Gio said. Again, here we go. You. Gio does this all the time. He never says I. He's always thinking that he's talking for us. He's always thinking that he talks to the Mets fans. He's talking for them. He's talking for the Giants fans. He's talking for the Jets fans. He likes to pretend that he's somebody else. Does this all the time. That's why he does these impressions. It's a big part of why he does the impressions, because he gets himself into character and thinks he's somebody else. Yes, the schedule starts to lighten up a little bit, but you have to start winning some of these games at some point. Yes, the offensive line last night was slightly better, and you assume Andrew Thomas comes back soon. But there are just so many factors of this. If this, if that. So where will the Giants end up now that they are 1-5 on the season? Gio believes they will be fighting for a top draft pick and Daniel Jones' eventual replacement. Quote, I think this team's probably going to end up in the 4 to 5 win range, which will probably put them in a situation where they have to consider, do we take one of the top these prospects? Do we take one of these quarterbacks and have our guy and get out of the Daniel Jones contract at the end of the year? Well, I would mention about Gio, he's always he's a very negative guy. Extremely negative. Everything is negative. He even said today that there's nothing good going on in New York sports at the moment. Very negative guy. He's not nearly as experienced as Boomer Esiason in terms of what he knows he's talking about. She doesn't know what he's talking about. Most of these guys and ladies that are on the fan, do not know what they're talking about. And it shows itself every single day. And when it comes to playing, there's only really 2 guys on the station that knows what they're talking about. Tiki Barber and Norman Boomer Esiason. So you let me know what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe to the Football Hut. Thank you, and I'll see you later.